Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 120. Again to this week's Business Finance Bulletin with me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services. In this week's bulletin, a look at the rise in claims made under trade credit insurance policies, the Small Business Enterprise Act receives Royal Assent, demand for alternative finance, and my business finance tip of the week: how do you choose an accountant? Let's start this week's bulletin by taking a look at a topic that I don't think I've ever covered in the previous 119 episodes of this bulletin series, and that's about trade credit insurance. Now, first of all, what is trade credit insurance? Well, it basically says what it is. You have an insurance policy which insures against your trade credit limits that you've put out there. Particularly, you can claim under the insurance policy when certain customers have gone into insolvency or are paying you late. So it's a great insurance policy to have. Now, activity levels in 2015 have just been released by the Association of British Insurers, and it makes interesting reading. It shows, first of all, that there's been a staggering 42% increase in the amount of money paid out in terms of claims. In fact, £149 million was paid out to clients where customers failed to pay. In terms of claims, well, there's been a 19% increase in claims, with 11,000 claims made. And new policies written, there have been about 11,600 new policies written in 2015. So you can see it's proving quite a popular way of insuring against late payment and unpaid debts. Now, you may be wondering, what type of business can I insure, particularly if I'm an exporter? Well, 74% of them are in respect of domestic trades, and about 22% are in respect of exporting. So you can see it does cover all types of businesses. Now, if you want to know more, just go along to your favourite search engine and type in trade credit insurance providers, and there you'll find a number of them, including the more popular ones are Euler Hermes and Atradius. A really useful policy if you're concerned that late payment or unpaid debts could trip up your business. Well, after a long journey, the Small Business Enterprise Bill has finally received Royal Assent and is now ready to roll out. Now, this Enterprise Bill was originally floated back in 2015, and obviously it takes a while to go through Parliament and all the amendments, etc. Well, finally, it's there. Now, as a result of this, it means that the main part of that bill, which will be of interest to small businesses, is the appointment of the Small Business Commissioner, who's going to have some teeth where late payment is concerned. As you know, late payment is a regular topic in this bulletin. The reason being, it's such a big barrier to growth and a major issue for many small businesses. Well, with the Royal Assent for the bill having now gone through, the likes of the Federation of Small Businesses, the FSB, is really now on the case and has announced that it's really pushing the government to try and get the Small Business Commissioner up and running, particularly where late payments is concerned. The FSB reckon that there's about £26 billion owed to small businesses. And under this bill, one power that the Small Business Commissioner will have is to be able to name and shame and also demand high levels of reporting from large businesses who are traditionally the biggest problem where small businesses are concerned. So hopefully light is now at the end of the tunnel, and October apparently has been announced as the date when all of this legislation really will start to come together in terms of late payment. So if you do suffer from late payment, hang on, hopefully help is on its way. Demand for funding from alternative finance providers is set to increase over the next 2 years. That's according to a new survey that's come out by alternative finance provider Amicus Finance. Amicus spoke to many business owners, and of those surveyed, 53% of them said they expected their colleagues to have increased appetite over the next 2 years to use alternative finance providers. Now, of the alternative finance solutions that you've got, including asset finance, invoice discounting, and of course crowdfunding, those businesses surveyed said they expected to see a 28% increase in the overall amount of business done. 51% of the business surveyed, interestingly, said they've either used alternative finance or have actively considered using it. So awareness levels are on the way up. But what about where the money is going to be spent? They've gone to alternative finance providers. What are they going to use the money for? Well, 39% of them said they would use it to update all of their IT and technology, bring them bang up to date. 18% of them would invest it into vehicles and 13% into telecom solutions, make themselves much more efficient where communication is concerned. It's a really interesting survey there, and I say it just continues to mirror the evidence about increased awareness amongst business owners of alternative finance. And as I've mentioned in the last couple of bulletins though, the banks are starting to catch up a little bit. I mentioned in the previous bulletins about new online platforms being launched by NatWest, HSBC and Santander. So all of them, they're all starting to vie for positions in order to get you the finance you need, which is of course great news for you. If you want to talk through any of the options available to you in the alternative finance world, by all means just drop us a line, info@businessloanservices.co.uk, and we'd be more than happy to chat through the options with you. On now to my business finance tip of the week. How do I choose the right accountant for my business? Now, that is a big decision for many businesses, especially if you're a fast-growing one. So here are 3 things to think about when selecting the right accountancy partner. Number 1, are they a one-stop shop? Now, if you're a fast-growing business, the chances are you're likely to be VAT registered and also employ people. And with that comes all the red tape around payroll, auto-enrollment, settlement of PAYE, etc. So if you are fast growing, you really need to ideally have someone who can do it all for you instead of having multiple different partners out there. So ask the question, can you do all my VAT and payroll? Point number 2, select a suitably qualified firm. Now, if you're a very small business, a basic number cruncher will do what you need it to do. But if you're a fast growing firm, you need support and advice. So you need to look for a suitably qualified firm. Now, the basic qualifications come in 2 forms. Number 1, you've got ACCA, which is the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, and also the ICAEW, a bit of a mouthful, it's the Institute of Chartered Accountants England and Wales. Now, they've each got their own relevant website, so all you have to do, go on there and search for local accountants to you, and then come up with a short list, ideally of 3. And tip number 3, once you've got your short list, interview them. Go and ask for a quotation so you can compare prices, but more importantly, interview them to make sure you can get on with them. Each accountancy firm has its own personality, and you need to make sure that you get on with the people who are going to be providing you with that service. So once you've got the quotes in and you've had a chat with them all, select the one which you think is the best fit for you and your business. So there we are, 3 tips on how to choose the right accountancy partner for your business. Well, that's it for this week, and as ever, I hope you enjoyed the bulletin. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like and a share on social media. If you're watching the video version, don't forget we've got the podcast available on iTunes, SoundCloud and Stitcher. Just go along to those channels and search for Business Finance Bulletin. And of course, if you're listening on the podcast version, you can check out the YouTube or your video version on YouTube. Just go along there and search for Rob Warlow. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much for being with me. Look forward to being with you again next week. Have a great, successful and profitable week. Bye-bye now.